There's nothing better than watching an expert striker dominate his opponents inside the cage. The one-punch knockouts, the deadly body shots, and nasty uppercuts. It's a treat to watch a natural striker at the top of his game. But who are the best boxers to have ever fought at the UFC? Keep watching this video for all that and more as we tell you about 8 of the greatest strikers in UFC history. First up, the highlight. Along with being one of the best strikers on the UFC roster, Justin Gaethje also has another achievement up his sleeves. He's one of the few fighters who live up to their nickname. The highlight is known for his deadly striking. Every time he steps inside the cage, you can expect him to stack up highlight reels regardless of the result. His fight against Tony Ferguson revealed just how dangerous he is when it comes to throwing fists. Justin landed some of the most beautiful punches we've ever seen and completely obliterated Tony, shocking the fight world and announcing himself as a gifted boxer. What makes the highlight so good is he isn't afraid of jumping in the line of fire. He has a chin of steel, and that's why he's always confident to engage in vicious exchanges without backing down. He was a little reckless in the earlier stages of his career, but he's come a long way. After significantly improving his fighting IQ, the 34-year-old has leveled up, becoming one of the most savage strikers in the promotion. Next, Anderson the Spider Silva. Anderson Silva isn't just one of the best strikers in UFC history. He also goes down as one of the greatest mixed martial artists of all time. In Brazil, he's widely regarded as the GOAT of MMA, sharing the spot with the likes of Jose Aldo. And even after retiring from the UFC, the Spider is putting away boxing champions because he's so good with his hands. Now, if we're talking about Silva's arsenal, he has everything. Leg kicks, grappling, spinning elbows, you name it. But when it comes to striking, it's like the Brazilian has bombs in place of his fist. He's always been entertaining to watch since he's so good at mixing it up. He'll throw a murderous fury of punches followed by a head kick, finishing off with a spinning elbow to knock out his opponent. He's just so unpredictable as a fighter, and we think everybody saw that when he fought Vitor Belfort. His striking was off the charts that night. The speed, impact, accuracy, everything was on point. And we know this is a video about striking, but the reason why Silva is one of the best is that he's so versatile. He shocked Belfort with his striking, but landed a front kick to his chin, ending the fight in no time. His ability to mix things up with such superior striking makes him go down as one of the greatest strikers in UFC history. Moving on, the man from Hawaii. We're sure half of you already know who we're talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, now for the one and only Max Holloway. Max is a really special guy. Apart from being a class entertainer, he's one of the best, if not the best, strikers in the promotion. And we say that because his confidence in his boxing abilities is out of this world. I'm the best boxer in the UFC, baby. There's not much you could argue for a guy who calls himself the best when throwing hands at the UFC. And it's not so much his power that makes him so good, it's the accuracy. Holloway rarely throws kicks, not because he isn't good or something, but because he never needs to. Oh, and remember when he fought Brian Ortega? Well, things got so messed up at one point that the Blessed just kept landing punches, and Ortega was completely out of it. He couldn't even fend off the strikes, and Max decided to stop midway and teach his opponent how to defend. It was hilarious, but it was also pretty jaw-dropping that he did it in the middle of the fight. Holloway also holds the record for most strikes landed in a UFC fight against Calvin Kattar. And he didn't just land 100, 200, or 300 strikes. No, sir. He landed a mind-blowing 447 punches. Following up, Mystic Mac. We still get goosebumps whenever we watch that video of Bruce Buffer introducing him at UFC 189. The one, the only, the notorious Conor McGregor. Where do we even start, guys? Mystic Mac has put on some of the most dominant displays of striking we've ever seen. He was just something else during his early days at the promotion. The Notorious was knocking guys out left and right with his blazing fist. Remember his fight against Eddie Alvarez? It was stunning to see Conor land those shots. He landed one of the sickest and most beautiful combinations we've ever seen in our entire lives. Even in his fight against the dominant Jose Aldo, it only took McGregor about 11 seconds to put away the UFC's first ever featherweight champion, ruling for more than a decade. How did he do it? Easy, his exceptional striking. And he wasn't like the rest of the fighters we've mentioned in this video. Conor was just such a complete striker. Accuracy, power, speed, everything was maxed out. It's no surprise why he was regarded as one of the greatest fighters in the world at one point during his prime. Up next, the last style bender. Israel Adesanya is without a doubt the best active striker in the UFC. His lean structure allows him to have extended reach without compromising power. And in case you haven't noticed yet, that left cross he nails opponents with while he is leaning back is one of the best counters we've ever seen. He did it best against Robert Whittaker. What he does is he leans back while swinging a nasty left. So he's not just countering, but he's also avoiding danger at the same time. Izzy is particularly good at controlling the distance, which is why he's been able to dominate the middleweight division for so long. He uses this lightning-quick jab to measure the distance and determine whether it's time to throw a deadly cross or punch to stun his opponent. And everyone we've talked about so far, except for Silva, has no experience fighting in the heavier weight classes. So no matter how good you are, having the guts to exchange fists against absolute beasts is not everyone's cup of tea. But yeah, if we're talking about present-day strikers, Izzy is easily the best. Now for two silent killers. Two fighters have surprised us with their boxing skills, and to be honest, they're silent killers. Any guesses about who we're talking about? One's a bantamweight, and the other a light heavyweight. If you guessed Sugar Sean O'Malley and Alexander Gustafsson, you're 100% right. Now, both these guys are different, but when it comes to striking, they're almost the best in their respective divisions. If we're talking about O'Malley, he has the special hands-down type move where he doesn't bother to defend and waits for the perfect opening to stick in a hellish punch. His striking against Thomas Almeida was just brilliant. He had some unbelievable footwork and even landed a punch using his entire body weight to knock Thomas out cold. Next is Alexander Gustafsson, a naturally gifted boxer. You don't see a lot of it up there, but if you recall that fight of his against John Jones, then you probably already know what we're getting at here. Now, Jones is a dominant fighter. He's super hard to control, but the fact that Alexander outshined him in the striking department and went the distance proves how good he is as a boxer. He bloodied up his face and sent him home with swollen cheeks. But yeah, it's not exactly that surprising, since Gustafsson is a Swedish national boxing champion. Last but not least, the first featherweight champion. Jose Aldo might have lost his belt to a deadly striker. That doesn't mean he wasn't good either. He was the inaugural featherweight champion of the UFC, and his reign lasted for over a decade. And in case you don't know how he managed to stay on top for 18 fights, allow us to break it down for you. 2 words: his striking. Aldo was a monster with his fist. He was a scary dude, and guys didn't want to go head-on in an exchange with him, because you could bet your house that Aldo will never back down and continue to punch you no matter how much heat you throw at him. It's no surprise why he's so excited to take on exhibition boxing after retiring from the UFC. That's it from our our side, folks. So, what do you think? Who's the best striker of the ones we talked about? And did we forget a dangerous one? Let us know in the comments below. Remember, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos in the future. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.